Spontaneous desire gets the hype, but for a lot of us, it's just not the whole story. Responsive desire, where arousal comes after stimulation or connection, is way more common than people think. Today, we're breaking down what responsive desire really means and how it can change the way you think about your sex life and your relationship.
Welcome to Taboo Talks, Not Safe for Brunch, where nothing is off the table. We're diving into real conversations about sex, relationships, and self-discovery with zero shame and a whole lot of sass.
With over 55 years of combined experience in the intimacy industry and plenty of real life lessons, we are here to break taboos, bust myths, and serve up unapologetic, real world education. One brunch convo at a
I'm Coralie, tuning in from Vancouver. I'm a married mom with one foot in the empty nest club. My superpower is going deep down rabbit holes and getting to the real root of things.
And I'm Amber. I'm based in Ontario. I'm married. I'm a mom, a GMA, and proudly blunt. I cut through the fluff and get straight to what matters.
I'm Vicki, and I'm from Manitoba. I'm divorced, re-entering the dating scene. I'm a mom to two grown-ups, and my magic is creating real connection because intimacy starts with trust.
Grab your mimosa, your matcha, or whatever turns you on, and let's dive in.
If I wasn't instantly in the mood, something was wrong.
Yeah, I totally thought like if it didn't hit me like a bolt of lightning, that it wasn't real desire.
Totally. And it turns out that a lot of us get going because of the connection or touch, not before. And that's completely normal. I also think that there's a piece of the knowledge that we sometimes feel like we have or don't have is the fact that a lot of times our male partners, especially, also think that we should be desirous in the moment and that there doesn't need to be a lot of lead up work that happens, and I think that's very detrimental to how we end up feeling that desire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes the wind just has to blow and boing, like they're ready, and
Yeah.
we need the planets to align.
Well, and the planets aligning is that spontaneous, right?
Right, exactly.
It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
But not the type of like slap my ass in the kitchen. That's not
Right.
doing it.
No.
This is the nice soft touch. And I mean, this might just be for me. Some people might like the slap on the ass in the hallway. I'm not your buddy on the football field, okay?
Oh my
But you
God, that's
need
so
some
funny.
of that to get that, oh, like, oh, maybe I do want this instead of just a boing and you're ready. Because women will often need that touch to maybe, ooh, okay. Yeah, okay, this sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and I think that there's also a really good balance for the most part of the soft touch and maybe the push up against the wall. It can have sort of some assertiveness with some really softness attached to it as
Mhm.
well. So don't get it twisted that you just can only, soft touching only. That scares me.
Yeah,
Don't
I
put
was
that
more
into the world.
referring to like the, oh, let me pass you by in the hallway and slap your ass and now that's foreplay.
Right.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Fair. I just wanted to make sure that there were
Yeah.
men out there going, "Oh, so I just have to like touch her gently all the time. I will kill you. This is where I will punch you in the face."
Okay. You know your line.
Little aggression.
Sometimes too, like we get into this idea that we have to be responding to something our partner does when it doesn't have to be that. Like, first of all, what if you don't have a partner? But we can't always put it on them. You could be watching something. You could be reading something. You could be remembering something. You could be having a shower and you get the shower head and you're just rinsing off the last of your shaving cream and you're like, oh, oh, and you never know, right? So just pay attention to the next time you do feel that desire. What was the starting point? Pay attention to that.
Yeah, for sure. So let's dive into what responsive desire is. So, responsive desire means you don't feel horny out of nowhere. It shows up after you start engaging emotionally, physically, or mentally. So, it's common, especially among women, people over 30, and people in long term relationships. And this study was really cool. Studies show that up to 70% of women experience responsive desire rather than spontaneous desire. Oh, what?
I mean, that doesn't
I'm not
surprise
broken?
me. That doesn't surprise me. I remember when I first learned about this, my mind was blown because I was like, that is exactly. And before that, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was broken.
Yeah.
And then, of course, so I'm sharing that with so many women over the last decade or two, and they're all blown away. Their minds are blown,
Mhm. I
because
also think that the longer you're in the relationship, the more of the responsive desire cues you need.
right. Yes, because even like when you're early, it might still be responsive, but it doesn't take much.
Right.
you know,
Right.
Yes.
it
I
can be
will.
a look, whereas, 10 years in, it needs to be a massage.
That's right.
Mhm,
Exactly that.
mhm.
And for men, it's approximately 75% that experience spontaneous desire. So that it's a flip. It's a total opposite.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we feel like, "Ugh, why am I not like my partner if you have a male
Right.
partner?"
Mhm.
Right. And vice versa. Why are they not like us?
Yeah.
Why does this
What's
technique
wrong with
not work for
me?
her? Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
think. What's wrong
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's not you.
Interesting. Of course, another instance of us being on completely opposite sides of the spectrum.
Right.
Well, and I think that just like I was just gonna ask you guys this question, but why do you think spontaneous desire gets the attention while responsive desire stays quiet? And I think we just answered that with that stat.
Exactly right.
Mhm. I also think too, if you think about entertainment, the entertainment industry, since it began, it's been mostly men in charge. And what are we watching? We're not watching someone get a slow arousal in a movie. They just, bam, you're doing the dishes. I'm horny. Oh my God, let's go. You know what I mean? So I think Hollywood, that's what they highlight because that sells, right?
Right.
That's more passionate. Someone's going to buy that. Whereas
Mhm.
it might be like a sleeper hit if it's like the
Right.
menopausal woman slowly becoming aroused.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I think that some of that is super destructive to our psyche as women
Right.
because we watch it and go, well, wait a minute. And then our male partner, our counterparts might watch it and go, well, why doesn't she respond that way to me?
Right.
Right. So that's where the
Mhm.
communication comes into play because, again, I mean, I know that we have to teach everybody this, but just because you see it work like that on TV doesn't mean that's how it's going to work in your home.
So I think it's important not to judge your desire style. Both spontaneous and responsive, they're totally valid.
Yeah.
Tune into what sparks your arousal, touch, words, mood, and lean into it. I remember I was speaking to a friend years back, and I think this was 50 Shades of Grey time when the books were really hot.
Mm.
And her husband was like, she could read those any day. Because all of a sudden, they're laying in bed, she's reading her book, she's closing the book, and boom, they're having some fun. And he's like, woohoo, right?
Yeah.
So it was that mental, the reading. It was totally not anything that he did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. The stimulation is interesting when you are reading something, whether it's erotica or just a romance novel. If you respond positively to that
Mhm.
kind of stimuli, yeah, that can be extremely helpful.
Mhm. So let's talk about how responsive desire will show up in relationships. So it really thrives on connection, trust, and feeling safe with your partner. You're always going to respond quicker when you feel safe, when you know that
Absolutely.
you're connected and everything's safe. And remember, there's the non sex touching, right? Cuddling, sitting on the couch watching a movie and playing footsies, like where you're just touching, but it doesn't lead to anything, that is going to help keep your connection up. And you're going to learn, is that kind of touching? Is it going somewhere? Am I responding to it? Because the more you're touched, the more you're going to respond, I think, for most people. It can be really tricky when you have mismatched desires. And I'm going to bet most people who've been in a long term relationship have seen it both ways, right? It's never parallel. It's very rare to be. It can be really tricky. So you want to find ways to work around that, have some communication around it. I like safe words, I like code words because then it kind of makes it like fun or not so serious. I know sometimes when I want to have a casual conversation with my husband, he's like thought it's going to be something really serious and he'll stress out. So I have to be like, oh, I want to have a good chit chat about this. So we just have ways we word it so that it's like, oh, this isn't like a serious thing. He's just like, wow. No.
It's not that we need to talk.
No.
Right. Yeah. Like,
I love throwing that down though.
yeah, it's almost as bad as "So I was thinking." I mean.
Yeah, I get the eye rolls when I say that, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think the key to that is, again, having a partner who is responsive to the communication, to where you feel safe, and you said it, where you feel safe bringing up a thought or even broaching a topic that could be potentially spicy or dicey. Feeling safe in your relationship to have those conversations is really, really important. And I think that's what I'm desirous of, is somebody who wants to be collaborative in that space, you know?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about how couples can honor different, desire styles without frustration or shame. And I think that's a huge one. It's basically, let's name it. Like, let's name
Yeah.
it. Let's talk about it, because when you name it, you're not going to shame it. It's like information. It's not a put down or a slam. It's just
Mhm.
information, right?
Yeah. Or even a request,
Right.
to be able to feel safe enough in a space to say, this is sort of what I'm thinking about. What do you think about that? And not fearing retribution or anger or something coming of that in a negative way. It's just nice to be able to have the conversation, which I think is cool.
And I think too, if you're sitting there and you're talking to your partner and one of you says, I'm more responsive, and one of you says, I'm more spontaneous. If you're not in an open-minded place, you could take that as like your partner says, I'm more spontaneous, like they're saying, so you should be too. When it's not, that's not what they're saying. They're giving you information. They're not telling you you're flawed. And same when you say you're just giving them information. It's not about a flaw. It's not one better than the other. It's information so that you both can work with each other and respond and spontaneous more.
I think knowing where both of you stand, if your partner's more spontaneous, you're more responsive, having that kind of conversation. Because a lot of times when you have somebody who's more spontaneous, they're going to be the initiator.
Right.
And the responsive one, they're just not, right? And
Mhm.
then you'll find, and I've talked to so many people where in a relationship, their partners, I'm always the one initiating. This is ridiculous. I'm always the one initiating. But if you had that conversation and you each knew kind of where you stood, they might not be so upset or frustrated. They just know that it makes it easier on both of you if the one person initiates and the other person responds. Now, it does come down to if you're constantly saying, like, no, you got to talk about it and find ways that are going to get that responsive going. So if
Mhm.
responsive isn't for touch for you, your partner needs to know that.
Right.
Yeah, totally. So, also too, just some last tips on that is don't be afraid to schedule your sex, especially if you have had that conversation about one of you being spontaneous and one of you being responsive. First of all, schedule. And if you are the responsive one, do things that day to respond to. Have a shower, do treat yourself really nice that morning. Do a little, take one from Vicki over there and put a little enhancement gel on your doorbell, your little magic spot before you go out the door that day. Read something sexy when you're on you know what I mean? If you have it on the
Yeah.
schedule, do things that you're going to respond to so that you're not putting it all on your partner, because they are also too, if they're always being the one initiating, oh my God, it's going to feel so good for them for you to just attack, right? And then I know we said this before too, but don't think scheduling is a bad thing. When you book a trip, you schedule it 6 months out. Are you not thinking about that trip every day? Are you not getting excited? Are you not making little plans? Scheduling sex is the same thing. Like scheduling sex, there should be a movie about that. That would be a good movie. Yeah. Anyways, and we've already mentioned it, but don't forget the non-sexual touches. Like if the only time you touch is to have sex, it's going to be a lot harder to
Mhm.
have that arousal, right? So,
Yeah,
mhm.
absolutely. So let's talk about some ways that we can support responsive desire. And Coralie was just talking about that. Communication, of course, is king. You want to talk openly about what helps desire show up for each person so that you're coming to the table kind of knowing each other's cards a little bit. It's like a cheat code, right? Experiment with foreplay that's longer or different than usual. So trying something new, feeling safe enough to be able to suggest something new. If not, scapegoat on us and say, listen, I saw this podcast and
Well, and foreplay can start way before you're getting to the main event, right?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. In the morning with the enhancement gel, with the spicy texts all day, whatever that looks like, yeah, you can absolutely set the tone. Mindfulness and focusing on the moment can also help to overcome the "I'm just not feeling it" thoughts, I could, but ugh. Yeah, we talk ourselves out of so much, don't we?
Yeah. That
Mhm.
take
Who
it or
cares?
leave it mindset. It's just like, ugh, so detrimental to our sex lives.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes we talk about, "Oh, I'm just so tired and I'm just the day was this and yada yada." Coralie said it, schedule it, prioritize it, make it a part of the day. It might actually be the place where you get to connect and kind of forget everything, all the craziness of the day that happened, right? So I do think that's great. So what do you guys think are some ways to make that transition from not in the mood to the hell yeah even easier?
Honestly, when my husband will take initiative and clean up dinner that night or, something that I would normally do and give me time to get my mind into that space, done.
Yeah, for me, I know one thing that was a really big change for me was making sure that my bedroom didn't have any pictures of my family in it. Like
That helps.
yeah, and then I mean, and I don't have the perfect bedroom. I'm so indecisive when it comes to paint colors. I got 4 splotches on different walls. So it's not like this super romantic space, but I have no pictures of my family in there. I have lighting, like the lamps in there to make it just softer and not so bright. And just kind of it just has this romantic vibe. And when I need to change the vibe, it usually means I've been piling laundry up and not putting it away. I just clean it all up and make it look good again and just whatever. And one day I'll choose a paint color. One day. Yeah, it's just about the environment of where we are generally being more intimate. It's making it feel good. I don't want to stare at pictures of my kids. Like, I don't want to open my eyes just in the moment, or I want to be able to leave my eyes open and I don't want to
Yeah.
see my kids staring at me on a photo.
Yeah, no.
It's just,
No one's fighting you on that.
no,
No, not at all.
no.
Not at all.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Hmm.
totally. And I'm all about the remind me all day
Hmm.
why it is and what it is, it's gonna happen. We always talk about how I kind of have a man brain anyway, but I like that reminder that I'm desired and I
Hmm.
like to know that, period.
Hmm. Yeah, I love the all day flirt. Like my husband works 12-hour shifts and sometimes it's just really exciting. Like I feel bad. No one ever go through our texts to each other. You don't want to read them.
You don't wanna see
You
that.
don't want to read them.
I always say the person that's been delegated to clean my phone out when I die is she's got a task.
Yeah. I don't care who looks in our nightstand, but don't look at our like, I'm not
Right?
those.
So tips and tricks. Introduce new sensations slowly. So temperature play, feathers, massage oils. These all work wonders. And then add a little flogger in once in a while. And of course, use positive language to frame desire as something that you create together, not just something that magically happens. It's important to remember each partner that this is a collaborative event.
So responsive desire is more common than you think, especially with women, and it's just as real and powerful.
Understanding you and your partner's desire style can save so many headaches and hurt feelings.
And knowing desire can be built instead of just caught makes sex less stressful and way more fun.
Thanks for pulling up a seat at the Taboo Talk Not Safe for Brunch table. If today's chat made you laugh, think, squirm, or all three, do us a solid, like, follow, and leave a review. It's basically the podcast world's version of a good tip.
Want more juicy, unfiltered conversations? Tap the link in the show notes and sign up for our weekly newsletter, your VIP pass to what didn't make it on the air.
Brunch isn't just about the bites and bubbles. It's about showing up real, raw, and ready to talk about what really matters. So until next time, keep it bold, keep it curious, and definitely keep it not safe for brunch.